It's always cool to see something new or a refresh from Seiko. Even more so when it has a retail price of $575. And I know some people are going to be like, that's still a lot of money for this watch. I disagree, to the point where my Seiko Orange Monster is from 2014. This thing's like 10 years old. I'm going to do a 10-year update video on this one. If I'm not mistaken, the retail price on this thing was like $495. Yeah, we got crazy discounts back then. Those days are long gone. But still, the price point on that is very similar to the price point on this, minus the discounts, which you still are probably going to get discounts. Check the link down below. But more importantly, I think it's just nice to see Seiko offer a value-rich watch. And no, it doesn't have sapphire crystal. It has a hard lux. But you know what else it has? It also has their in-house movement. And that hard lux, is also in-house crystal that they designed a long time ago. Is it as scratch-resistant as sapphire? No. But is their movement as good as, or as refined as some high horology? No. It's an in-house built watch with all of their R&D and years of expertise to give us these value-packed divers or any watch at affordable price points. That's what I love about Seiko. They're just so dang approachable. They're cool looking and they're very comfortable to wear. Hopefully 10% of that made sense. But I have to say a big thanks to Jake at Trifecta. They're in Lafayette. They have a brick and mortar in Lafayette, Indiana. I'm going to visit there soon. I'm thinking in a few weeks from the time that I do this video. So whenever that lands, sometime this fall, I'm going to drive down. It's a bit of a drive. I'm going to drive down, hang out with Jake, tour the show, or the store rather, and give you guys a show. So maybe some local Midwest guys can meet me there and we can all hang out. I think that'll be a good time. So let's get into this guy here. This is the SRPL11, retail price $575. The movement 4R35. Very happy with the 4R caliber movements. That's what's in my Seiko Orange Monster. It still performs. I don't have any long-lasting history with the 6R movements or the 8L or anything like that, but I have plenty of experience with the 4R movements because I own a bunch of Seiko 5s and the Monster and some other stuff. So this guy here, 41.6 millimeter. They changed some of the size. It's very similar to a previous generation of this model, the, what are we calling it? The Samurai, I guess. I don't know that we can call it that. We got to call it something else maybe. It's kind of a ground up. It looks similar, but it's not the same watch at all. 41.6 millimeter wide. The lug to lug is a 49. Very angular, lots of brushing. This is a tool watch diver for sure. Thickness, or rather thinness, is only 12.6 millimeter. This is a thin guy. You have a 20 millimeter lug opening, nice fitted end link there, and then this bracelet does taper down to 18 millimeter. And then you have that tried and true Seiko clasp system, 4 micro adjust, a snip and a snap. And I play with that noise. I love that noise. I have my Orange Monster one where I can fidget it with that so much and click, 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 click. Drive my daughter nuts. My wife tolerates it. I don't know how. 6.5 millimeter screw down crown, 200 meter water resist. You have knurling on the crown, knurling on the bezel for traction on both those. 120 click, very Seiko-esque. This one has a nice stiffness to it. And then you have a smooth angular riot or chapter ring or whatever you want to call it in there, because all of the markers are on the dial, so easier to get things to line up, or a perceived lineup, whatever you prefer. The blue pill illusion, ignorance is bliss, right? It looks like it lines up. The date, very petite, stuffed in between the 4 and 5, 23 Michael Jordan's number. Just kind of black date wheel, white print. Still legible. My old eyes do struggle with it a little bit, if I'm being honest. I don't really care. It doesn't upset the balance of the dial, in my opinion. And I honestly, at this point, I prefer no dates. If I'm going to get a date or a day date, I need that size font. That works for me. That one's too small, but it's not a deal breaker in my opinion. Love the handset, fully brushed, very legible, and it pairs up nicely with those. I don't think they're applied. I think they're pressed in markers from the underside of the dial, which is a more consistent way of production. And then, of course, you have an insane application of Seiko Lume. Love the font on the bezel insert as well. And I'm not sure if that's steel or is that aluminum. Seiko does a lot of steel bezel inserts. Do you guys know? I didn't find any details on that. Nice chamfer on that hard Lex, flat, very legible, very smooth, and it holds up good. Guys, I've had my Seiko Orange Monster for 10 years and I've worn it, you can tell. And I do have a couple scratches in that hard Lex, but it has held up very good. So here's a look at the case back. It does have the blue protective sticker on there. If you do buy one of these, please take that sticker off. That is nasty if you just leave it on there and get all grimy and stuff. Just take it off. You're not preserving the value of the watch by leaving it on. Just take it off, please. Just a pet peeve of mine. No big deal. Okay. Sizing this thing, it looks like, what do we have? Do we have, is it pin and collar? It looks like it might be pin and collar. I just had this conversation within the comment sections of another video, the tag video that I did. And it's so interesting to me how divisive the way the bracelet is constructed can be for some people. Screw pins, pin and collar, split pins. Once I size a watch, at least me personally, once I size a bracelet on a watch, I never look back to see, other than if it's screw pins, I do watch those to make sure they don't back out on me because that has happened. But I've never looked, and I can't tell the difference on a bracelet if it's a split pin or a pin and collar or a screw pin. Once it's sized and on my wrist, I can't tell the way the bracelet feels on wrist. If you can, I don't know, you just have a better wrist palette for bracelets than I do. I'm not that refined. Let's pop this one on my wrist. I'm going way off topic today. I think it's easy to do when I'm talking about Seikos just because they're pretty much good to go. Like, I can just show you the watch. Like, you guys already know about them. If you're new to the game and you don't know about Seiko, you have a lot of catching up to do. Nice weight to this. I didn't catch the weight on it, but it is a really nice weight for a Seiko diver. Pretty much standard affair. You know, it's probably about 170 gram-ish, something like that. Very thin. This is going to be a very good wearing watch. If the previous larger, 43, I think, by 50 millimeter version of this style watch was too large for you, too wieldy for you, this one is going to do the trick for you for sure. Let's give it a quick blast of the UV light. It doesn't need it. The studio lights are plenty bright enough to charge these Seikos up. Doesn't take much, and they glow bright, and they go long, and they last a long time. Again, Seiko Orange Monster, 10 years old, runs with the new one. This is why we love Seiko. They just deliver quality, affordable watches. You can go all the way up. You can go super expensive if you want. You don't need to. You can hover around that $500 mark, even all the way down to $250 mark. There are some options, and you are still going to get a phenomenal watch. Again, big thanks to Jake at Trifecta. Looking forward to that store visit. Hopefully you guys will join me on that. I'll see you on the next vid.